Okay, guys, hello. This is the fourth, yes, I can count, installment of Much Ado About Dota. We were a bit delayed, obviously, because AUI had to delay us because he was in Dreamhack. Hello, buddy. How's your flight?
Hello, awful.
All right, but anyways, today we have our guest working with the Judy Studios Dota division. You've seen him in a lot of streams, aka mine, Draskell, and Sings, but he's the only guy that can grow facial hair here. Josh, yours doesn't count. Hello, Weppas.
Hello.
All right, and also with us today, as usual, I'll just go around the clock. None other than A-Team's carry player. I don't know, slash mid, Bulba.
I'm not the carry player, dude.
Dude, you
He's
play
off lane.
like off laner. Same thing.
No, I played like switch around, but yeah. Hi, I'm Bulba. How are you?
I can't even see your webcam, so you're moved along. With us is no other than the one player for Dignitas, carry. You are the carry player, right? I know that for sure, Kurt. I've watched your games. AUI 2000.
You already
Hi.
introduced me. Thanks.
Did I? No, I said
introduced
how was your
twice.
flight?
Oh, okay.
That's a completely different thing. All right. Anyways,
Okay.
and last but not least, I always come to you last, Josh, but formerly of Quantic Gaming, captain of Quantic Gaming, actually, Paint. Am I supposed to say Paint it gold or just Paint? Which one do you prefer?
I don't care. Paint it gold, whatever works.
All right, whatever. All right, so moving on. Obviously, the most recent thing that happened was Dreamhack. Kurt, you actually attended. If I could just get your quick notes on the event itself, compared to ESWC, because that was in Paris, right? Whereas Dreamhack was in Sweden. What do you think of the city, the event, etc.?
Um, Dreamhack was actually really incredible. I mean, like, if you've never been to a Dreamhack, I definitely recommend going. Like, just walking into the bring your own computer area, and there are like 1,000 computers there. It's pretty ridiculous. I like the city a lot more than Paris, but we were also in a really nice hotel. Like, we had a 4.5 star 5-star hotel, so that probably had a factor.
Wow, that Dignitas esports money. Anyways, Weppas, you were actually directly working the event. Is this how many times is it now? Is this your third time working the event?
No, it's the third time. Yeah, I was manager one time, and I did some VOD cutting, and then last summer I was casting eSport SM in Han, and then this time I was doing production for Dota 2.
I see. And did you enjoy doing the Dota 2 production? What kind of went into your job exactly?
I was pretty much pressing the overlays. So like the second day when the doors was like going back and forth, that was me falling asleep on the space key. Just went up and down like all the time. So yeah, that was pretty much what I did.
Alright, so anyways, the first topic that I wanted to talk about obviously were results. Kurt, I know your team did pretty well overall. I know you were disappointed with the result going down 2-1 to Empire, right? How did you feel about... Right, it was 2-1.
2-0.
Oh, was it 2-0?
Yeah.
That's
2-0, yeah.
2-0. Trust me,
Should
I
have
would
should
know.
have been.
Of course. Okay, well, I know people were talking about Way Too Sexy's Moonrunner and all that, and the Bounty Hunter, but what did you guys feel kind of like hurt you the most in games like that? I know that you said you wanted to discuss that set of games anyways.
No, I didn't. Well, we just played awful. Like all of us. Like if you look at the tournament, like every single one of us five, at one point or another, just completely lost games. So at least we all failed together.
That's teamwork right there, baby.
Yeah, it's teamwork.
Did you feel like you could have gotten better? How did you feel
Yeah,
about
for sure.
it?
Like we for sure could have done a lot better in that tournament, but I don't know. Like we did not practice well enough for that tournament. We did not prepare well enough, and we definitely did not like. While we were there, like, I don't know, just didn't sleep well, and, you know, Snaking would go around knocking on doors for like 4 hours. So, yeah.
How was meeting your entire team for the first time, by the way?
Well, I've met everyone except Snaking, and I'll decline to comment on that.
And that tells us pretty much everything we need to know. So, Josh, I know that well, actually, I assume everybody here extensively followed the tournament. Was it you that called No Tidehunter to be the surprise? No, you said Fnatic, right?
No,
No,
D.
LD was the
Yeah.
one that said No Tidehunter, but were you
I
surprised at all
said-
by NT's result?
Was I surprised by no Tidehunter's result? Not really. I mean, you check the Dota 2 Pro Scrim Group channel, and those guys are just scrimming all the time. And They have a good squad of like veteran players, and overall, I'm not too surprised. They practice hard. They came up with new strategies, and really, they have the like version of the game down better than anyone else. Like they know what heroes work for them, and they've practiced their strategies. So
All right. And Sam, I know you actually said that you thought No Tidehunter would go far. What was it exactly that you saw, and like, did their performance validate your faith in
I
them?
think I think Eternal Envy had a lot of strategies prepared, and he was obviously the smartest person going into that tournament. And they were obviously, like Josh said, they played a lot, so they knew most of the teams. I know that he had like a notebook or whatever. He took logs of most of the teams, and I remember one of the interviews he actually like said he could predict every single pick and ban that like Empire or whatever team could do. So I had for sure that okay, skill wise they might not have been individually the best team there, or like even like popularity. I mean, obviously Navi was the favorites and Empire, but like just actual knowing what to do and how to play this version, I think they did the best.
I see. And Weppas, did you manage to get a hold of any of them? What were your impressions on the team itself?
On the Tidehunter?
Yeah.
Well, they were like really prepared and they had a lot of strats and they kind of knew how to play against some teams and in the group stages to try to like mind game them out to think that some picks weren't worth first picking for them, but they would pick it in like in the playoffs. So and yeah, like Bulba said, Envy was walking around with his notebook and just writing down everything. The problem was he couldn't see what he was writing because his handwriting is like really fucking bad. So he understood everything. It was like no one could actually read it except for him. But yeah.
There was actually a thread on Eternal Envy, actually, that said he was going to quit college for about a year and take professional Dota into account. Kurt, as a college student, have you ever had any similar aspirations of just taking a little bit of time off to play Dota full time? Do you feel like it's necessary?
Necessary if you want to hit the top. I think for sure. Like university takes a lot of time. As for whether I've definitely thought about it. Not this year, but perhaps come September, I might take time off.
Would your parents be okay with that?
Probably. Like I think as long as like I have a plan for university and I'm planning to finish my degree, they'll be okay with it.
Yeah, it was kind of terrible, like the response you got. People are acting as if you can't just take a little bit of time off of university.
Well, I mean, people don't want, like, they don't want to just support that, and then, like, there's a whole bunch of people in high school who just, like, quit high school for Dota, and then, like, their parents see Team Liquor and are, like, all upset with them or something, I don't know.
I think. Well, you can go ahead. Sorry.
I don't think, like, quitting school to play pro gaming when because he wasn't really known at all at that point, right? Like, he
Yeah.
played a bit of Pawn, but not really in, like, the Dota scene, but, like, people don't want to encourage that type of behavior.
Okay, Sam, you're up.
Okay. Well, I remember I actually posted in that thread, and I kept track of that one, and I actually got into a flame war in that thread with Mr. I think, what was his name? The map hacker, Leventy or whatever. Okay, yeah. So
Levin.
yeah. So actually, what happened is, at first, obviously, the way he put it, most people, I think the reason they said that was because he was just talking like, oh, I'm this really top on player, and obviously as soon as I get into Dota, if I'm going to take a break, I'm going to easily get to the top. And I think that's the problem most people had with him, because obviously at that time, people didn't know how dedicated he was, and there was no way that you could even know Dota was going to be that big in the future. So that was the problem I think most people had with him. So at that time, realistically, no, because honestly, I didn't think like the Western scene or like. I thought, okay, the people that did well in Dota 1 would obviously do well in Dota 2 in the West. But besides Navi, I don't think it's that much of a case. I think they're like a lot of new faces, and I think most people didn't expect the heroes and newer players to do well. I know I was one of those people, but they've actually like improved a lot, and they've impressed me a lot too, most of those players. I know that S4, he's also like, he played only Han, I think, I don't know, but individually I thought he did the best in that tournament out of all the players there, so.
He was a really good Han player as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I didn't
they
know
played
much
offline
about
and
him. Yeah, I didn't know at all like I didn't know him at all. I remember Eternal Envy actually used to play TDA, and I know this is the real one. I know people think it's not, but I remember, and I know his old name was Jackie Mao or whatever. So at that time, the way he just sounded, it was real weird, and I don't think at that time anyone could have predicted this. But obviously, no one knows like how predictable, I mean, how dedicated someone is to actually get better. And at least one thing it shows is you don't have to be like a famous person to do well. I mean, Dota 2 has a lot of ways for even like lesser known players to get into it and show off their skill with all these like tournaments every day. I know that in Dota 1 the problem with at that time, which I thought obviously would be like in Dota 2, was that it would be harder for lesser people to get known in the scene just because there were only invite tournaments in Dota 1. There was like Farm for Fame, whatever, Pick League, and all these were just invites. But in Dota 2, you have all these like open tournaments, and I know what tournament did they do really well in? That the first time they beat EG in, I forgot, but
All right,
they
it was the qualifiers for ESWC.
yeah,
They beat 'em 3-0.
they crushed the ESWC qualifiers. I remember they beat everyone, and that was kind of where they got their name out. I remember Admiral Bulldog kind of was like that Silverbear guy that was on Dendy's stream and stuff, and then they went kind of under the light, and then they showed again, and people obviously didn't expect them to be amazing because they had like kind of a few rough games before Dreamhack, but I think that they were obviously saving a lot of strategies for the tournament, especially that whole Furion dying thing. So I think
Yeah.
looking
Well,
back,
apparently-
he's obviously happy. Okay, go ahead.
Apparently they just like made that after they lost. They were like, we need like a morale booster, and we need to get our heads back into this game. So like, S4 apparently just proposed that out of nowhere, and it wasn't like a strategy that Eternal Envy saved or. He's taken most of the credit for it, but apparently S4 is just like, why don't we do this? Like, and the team was like, yeah, let's do it. So they did it, and it morale boosted for sure.
All right, something I desperately wanted to bring up actually was Sam. I know I saw your tweets and stuff, and you had mentioned that you wanted Navi to do really well, and you expected them to just kind of crush, and then all of a sudden they just kind of lost to EG. What do you kind of feel like was their downfall? Do you feel that they actually just played badly? I know some people had mentioned that Puppy was outpicked. Is this a concern for them going into the future?
I mean, the problem was the first game. I think if you play versus a Sven and you don't have any hero that can disable him in BKB, versus a good team, you're not gonna win. I don't see like that first game. They were actually outplaying EGS for lanes and farm. They completely crushed mid lane. Fear wasn't actually farming at all well bottom. Because he was versus a Lich off lane, so he's obviously a lot lower CS. And Dendi has like basic free farm. And a few mistakes I think is Dendi went blink instead of just rushing BKB. He obviously didn't snowball as fast, and later on, they're overall they didn't do anything. Like the CK with Heart, the CK with the chainmail, whatever, was just like a little creep for the Sven. You know, he's just dying in like 3 hits. It was just shows how annoying it is to play versus that hero if you have nothing to stop him in BKB. So I think that was what the problem was, at least that first game. And then obviously second game, I have no idea what the hell was going on in that game. It was just like, okay, we have an Undying and we have a whatever, we're going to aggressive try, and it was really obvious. And then Puppy picks Lycan last pick. I was like, what?
Oh yeah, I remember watching that game, and it was strange. It seems like they just didn't adapt to like the picks, you know, and play of the version. Like Sven is obviously like a high priority pick, and you need to pick directly to counter him. And that Lycan pick, it was just useless. And yeah, just out pick.
Weppas, you actually got to see the games live, right? What were your thoughts on Navi's kind of fall in this tournament? Because I know they always go into DreamHack as favorites, but they've kind of yet to fulfill. What do you think it is that kind of led to their downfall this time around?
The first game was just, it felt so random because it really felt like they had an advantage all the time and then just lost it somehow. But then the second game was just so random because the picks from Poppy's side just felt like, I don't know, just felt really off. So, I don't know, the picking, I think it's just that they don't really prepare enough right now. Like, people are actually trying a lot harder than they are with preparing for tournaments and scrimming and boot camping or whatever. Like Poppy said, I don't know how much troll it was, but it was like, yeah, we boot camp for 2 days. One day it was drinking, one day it was like sobering up and going for like 2 scrims or something. It's like, I don't know if it's 100% true, but like still, you have all the other teams that are boot camping for like weeks, and I don't know. I think they're just, I think they think that their advantage is still like really big, but they're starting to realize it, but they don't really want to do anything about it. I don't know.
Kurt, as the beautiful geisha of the group, what did you observe about the games?
Well, they definitely didn't play like Navi, but one thing I would like to say is that Navi were really, really mad after they lost to EG. Like, really, really mad. And they didn't even attend the after party or anything. So the next tournament, I think we can expect Navi to come out full force.
Okay, so you think this is just a small hiccup and like
Yeah, I really do. I think Navi is an incredible team, and this is just like I don't think they took the first game completely seriously, but they definitely didn't intend to lose that second game, and they were really mad when they did.
I don't think you could blame anyone but Navi losing that second game. I mean,
Yeah.
EG actually had the perfect lanes and the perfect heroes, and I think one thing at least that game taught was like even if you have to really farm TA, you're just not going to do anything in team fights. Like Dendi had so much for a mid, but I don't know. There's like it was just weird. Like there was a Void, and I have no idea because first Venge and Void went bottom, and there was a Lycan in the jungle. Lycan obviously was going to pull mid. So at first I thought, okay, maybe Puppy thinks they're going to dual lane or something, where they're going to put something Sven and farm him up. I don't know, but it just felt really weird seeing that. And then obviously they, as soon as they see the tri lane, they just send the Void top. So Void is soloing a safe lane Clinks, which obviously Void's not going to get any farm, and Fear gets like a 14-minute Orchis and just completely dominates the game. And Demon
Yeah.
was going around just crushing people with like whatever Beastmaster or whatever I think he had. So it was just like a stomp. And Puppy had like what 20 minute. He was like level 8 with like not even a Vlad's medallion yet. He just had the medallion and treads.
Uh-huh.
So, but
Okay.
I don't know. It's like I don't think you can logically pick Lycan anymore if jungle him if the other team just puts pressure because that hero is
Yeah.
not gonna farm.
If
I
you know
don't.
that it's a
yeah.
tri lane, then you definitely can't. Because yeah, I remember that game now that you mention it, and yeah, it was an undying tri lane, and that pretty much dominates like everything. So you have to kind of tri lane versus tri lane against it and play passively. That's kind of the counter to it, you know.
But the problem is
Yeah.
that they had a Venge and Void and a Lycan, so they couldn't
Yeah.
even do anything.
Yeah. So they had to put a Venge Void against a Clinks and then just give up their like safe lane completely, and that's definitely not a winning recipe.
The only way I logically think Navi could have won that game is if Puppy predicted the tri-lane bottom and then just sent like the Lycan solo mid versus the Beastmaster and TA off lane and sent Venge, Windrunner, Void bottom, and obviously he didn't. So I mean,
was
he picked
thinking
his
the same thing.
Yeah, that was logically the only way I think they could have won the game with those heroes. Because Sven is obviously going to snowball regardless, and that Clinks is going to snowball in the safe lane. At least one thing we've learned, at least from watching Empire, is that safe lane Clinks, if you pull him regen, is unbelievably hard to stop with any solo hero.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, something I wanted to bring up, Sam. I know throughout the tournament that you were kind of having an issue with just the whole the metagame as it is right now, right? Which is just stack, 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 and then get into like one farm fight, right? Like, how do you feel that that style is going to be countered, and what did you feel as a spectator?
I don't think it was just me. I think most players, at least from a third player perspective that wasn't at the tournament doing well, would have that. I know that Toby said that Puppy was complaining about it. I know Dendi was even kind of pissed off at it. And I was also watching it with most of the LGD international players. Like all of them actually were all watching it with Zhao 8. And they were all just complaining about what is going on. I remember the first game between NTH and EG was like 15 minutes or 16 minutes in the finals, and it's like 1 and 2. And the first smoke gank, they're like smoking each other's ancients to farm them. And then I remember 1437 actually gave me a really like good quote there. He's like, "Is this dire tide or what? Like teams are like smoking each other's ancients to farm." And obviously, the end of that game, EG got more candy or whatever the hell you used due to win that game. But that's just how I felt like in that game at least. And I think most of I know that the problem, at least I thought, is no teams were putting pressure besides Empire or Navi or if Fnatic even. Fnatic was actually playing like a nice style. I thought they were pushing towers, they were going as 5, and they're just getting complete map control. But I don't know. I think NTH they were pulling, stacking, pulling, stacking. I know Envy had like an obs ward at 5 minutes in with a level 2 Venge, and I don't know. It just felt like it
Yeah.
shouldn't be Dota. It shouldn't be just pulling every camp, you know? And obviously I might sound bitter or whatever, I don't care, but it's just how I think. Like, it shouldn't be like this, where you have a support hero that's not casting spells on an enemy hero until 10 minutes. I actually watched one of those games where Envy didn't cast a spell on an enemy hero till like 10 or 15 minutes in. He just was spamming the creeps. He was like telekinesing
He's
those
actually-
little things in.
A level 2 like Venge and level 2 Shadow Demon. Those games I remember.
So I think like people think, okay, this is how passive, this is Chinese, like this kind of style is gonna help us, but no, like it's not gonna help us because those Chinese, they can play this style and they can play better than you. And the only way that we are gonna actually do well versus these Chinese teams is we're gonna have to think of being creative and think of different styles because obviously they're gonna practice and they're gonna have better practice like partners, but like if we don't put pressure and we have like this kind of passive play where we just stack camps and we don't have our supports doing anything, it's just I think it's counterintuitive to Dota. You can't win. You can't win without putting pressure, in Dota at least. And the way I think that NTH actually won the last two games is they went on the end and they put pressure on EG. Both those games they aggressive tri-laned and they made EG whatever. EG had to send their other lane, their safe lane to the opposing. Like the reason I think they won is they started putting pressure, which I actually liked. I actually talked to Envy about it after, and he's like, yeah, we played EG so many times that we realized how they're gonna play and how they're like their style. So it's like, okay, let's just.
I don't know about that, Sam. Like putting the pressure on aggressive and stuff like that. I think like a determining factor in the last two games on the grand stage was just the picks. I feel EG was strongly outpicked. They picked a Jug against a Sven carry. Like a Sven carry needs like 3 items to be effective, like Mask of Madness, like BKB and crit basically. And that's such cheap item composition. Like it costs like 8k or something. Whereas a Jug needs like 5 items to fight a Sven pretty much, you know?
I think the thing is the second game they had Mag and Enigma, so I think that's why they took Jug. I mean, they felt that they had the counters to Sven in those, but I don't think you would just think like that, you know? Like there's too many factors.
Mm-hmm, for sure. And then third game, they gave away what I like to call the Holy Trinity. And I talked to a couple of people about this like while the tournament was going on, and it was basically the Holy Trinity is like Bounty, THD, and Undying. Like how many times do you see those 3 heroes when they're picked on the same team lose a game? We saw like Empire just dominate all over the scene with it because THD and Undying +1 is like the perfect tri-lane if you want it. And Bounty can solo the safe lane, he can do anything. And yeah, those heroes just like don't lose together. And I think EG was severely outpicked in the third game as well.
They still did very well though. They just actually picked up 2 players relatively recently to the scene. Jo actually has been with them since the beginning of the D2L League. But Beataz was a semi-recent acquisition, and I feel second place is pretty fantastic, all things considered. Weppas, I'm gonna come back to you. What were your thoughts on the finals themselves, and how it played out? Did you expect NTH, kind of like the underdog team, to do this well over a team kind of like EG?
Well, I predicted them to win just because I talked to them so much before, and like Drasko was so mad that I predicted them to win, and they actually won. I was like, fuck's sake, man. But like, yeah, I just talked to Ake like 2 or 3 weeks before Dreamhack even started, and he was like really confident even then. But like just the finals, like first game, I was so surprised I didn't win because I think they outpicked EG so hard that game. But they just got outplayed, like straight up outplayed in the first game. The second game, I don't know, it feels like EG had a stronger lineup, and they just, I don't know, them, like you said, with the morale boost from the Roche bait and stuff like that, really helped them. And they played it really well. And the third game, they just safed it out the whole way and just won it. So, I don't know. It was really interesting to see, though. But, yeah, as I said, I predicted them to win the whole thing just because it felt like they were really confident, like the whole tournament. And they dropped 1 game the whole tournament as well. And it was the first game against EG in the grand finals. So.
I have a question. I have a question for everyone. How much of a factor do you think that gap between the first games and the last 2 made a difference? Because I know some people were feeling pretty strongly that it's bad, and I know that I think it was like one of my friends was Mers was saying that Demon was saying it on his stream. I don't know. Like, what do you guys think about that?
I think it made a big difference. Well, not a big difference. I mean, you can't blame that ever. You don't want to use that as an excuse. But they waited like an hour and a half after their series, and then it was an hour and a half waiting time to the game, and then they had after the first game another 2 hours waiting time to like set everything up and go to the stage. So I mean, that definitely throws off your momentum. And after the first game that I saw EG, I definitely thought that they had the series because like they were there was just so much momentum going for them. They were picking well, they were playing well, and yeah, they were just doing everything right. Whereas after they got on the grand stage, like game 2, I understand what they were going for with their picks. They were kind of going for like a death ball type thing early on, but once Eternal Envy's team, NTH, picked up that Aegis kill with Sven, and then they tried to like pull the Sven out and kill him. He also picked up his BKB then. It didn't work out at all, and
I think at that
was
point
just
it
a
was
turning
regardless.
point.
I mean, EG was actually
Yeah.
playing really well there. Like when they were holding on with like a 20k gold deficit, I think. Like Demon
Yeah.
had some really good RPs, and then he skewered the Sven back, and then that was like the whole like cheese switch and stuff. That was pretty. But I do think that when you win, especially on LAN, and you feel all hyped up, and obviously the other team feels down, and there's that whole break. I think it did affect them. Like the thing about that is when you lose something, you have more to learn than when you win something. So obviously when EG won that game and NTH lost the first game, they obviously NTH learned more from losing that. I mean, obviously they could have thought like, what did we do? What did we do wrong? So obviously it hurt EG there.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I think if
for sure.
so I think if the games were actually right after each other, like it might have been different. But
They had,
I
they
don't
had
want
so
to
long
blame it all on
analyze-
that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
they
wanna
had
blame
so
it all on
long
that.
to analyze the picks as well. Like they picked up a Sven as the first pick, and they gave away a Batrider and what other hero was it? When was it
Which
Batrider
hero?
Meg?
Which game?
Game
The
two?
first game that EG won.
No, EG had what? I think I remember it was Rubik mid,
Mhm.
Bat Raider off lane, Void safe lane, Enigma jungle, and Venom pulling the bottom ancients, and then
Oh yeah.
NTH had safe lane Sven with something in the woods. I forgot Venge. I think Venge was playing mid, then TA mid, and then off lane Beastmaster, and the Beastmaster completely dominated top. So
Yeah, and they picked up the Sven first pick, which I went like, whoa, that's pretty ambitious because like Voids generally throughout this entire tournament dominated Sven's as for carry choices. You know, like Void's like the only melee carry that can pretty much stand up to Sven.
I agree. I think
Well, one thing. Oh.
the whole. Can we talk about the build too that Void we're going? Like the whole Loda build or something? He's like
Oh,
going
God.
Maidits.
Maelstrom,
Can I
right?
just jump in with the
Yeah, sure.
delay about the thing?
Sorry.
Well, what I thought when they had that big break was that it feels like they started the grand finals in the player area where they've been sitting like all the time, and then EG wins the first game, gets like really hyped, and then they're supposed to move into another area and play like in front of a big crowd instead. Like changes the mentality, like might get a bit more nervous or something like that. You kind of lose the hype you had because you have to wait 1.5, 2 hours. So like I feel NTH had like a lot of times just think everything through and then like restart in the arena because they just had to win, and like EG had everything to lose if they lost 2 games. Like it's a lot more pressure on EG moving into the arena after that. But if they would have started everything in the arena or like in the Dream Arena, I think EG might have actually pulled through the whole way because they would be a bit more like comfortable sitting there already, and they got the hype from the first game, and just like I don't know, I feel like that helped a bit as well. Like
I agree. I think we should. I don't know. I would really like to see the best of 3 start in the grand finals, not for the 2 games, you know. So just so we have like a fluent grand finals. I know DreamHack's schedule is really hard to schedule.
yeah,
Definitely. I think this happened the
they're
last
gonna
time
change
too.
it for
Square
It did
Round.
happen last time.
Yeah, it
I think they're
happened
gonna change it for summer though. Like yeah, you can't go on like that, and especially not when it's so late as well. Like the players, even though they just started 2, it's still like long breaks between all the games, and the day before, like we were working from 9 until 12. It was like super long days, and
Yeah.
the players get really tired from that as well. So, yeah.
Kurt, what did you guys actually do after the games ended?
After the games ended,
Yeah,
After
well,
Dreamhack?
after your team lost. I mean,
we just went to a players' lounge and we're all sad and watched the games. I guess. I mean, there's not much else we can do, right?
yeah, did you feel like that momentum shift had anything to do with the games at all, or did you just think that NTH outplayed? Like coming from a perspective of actually playing
Well, I wouldn't take anything away from NTH. I mean, they definitely like deserve to win that, I think. But like, I do think that I don't understand why there was a break in the finals. Like, even scheduling wise, like 1 extra hour or something. for the first game, and it is a big difference. Like, just having to move your setup that you've already gotten comfortable with the entire tournament is huge.
Yeah.
It was awful, I think. I hope
Yeah,
they
that was
fix it.
pretty
Or
bad.
another solution is
Yeah.
just to get rid of League of Legends.
Okay.
Well,
That
Whoa,
is a
shots
solution.
fired. Whoa!
they were
Whoa.
finished Friday or something. They played
Yeah,
only
it-
Thursday, Friday,
it
and
was
it was
actually-
only in the arena.
It was Han.
No, it
oh,
was
on?
Street Fighter before us.
Yeah,
I don't
Street
know
Fighter
what-
were right before.
I remember watching the Street Fighter. Oh man, like whew. Arrgh! I
Street
forget what
Fighter's
he said.
intense.
Yeah, what was that black guy saying? Ryan, Ryan.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, wasn't Street Fighter done like really fast as well, so the break became longer and so on? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, my camera, like... Alright. Anyways, so we did discuss... I also wanted to talk about, for 1 second, Sven as a hero. Do you feel like he has to be nerfed at all, or... Because obviously we saw, like, the majority of the games he was played in, he actually won. Kurt, did you actually play against Sven at all during the tournament?
I don't know, but I actually thought Sven is overrated, and he was actually gonna get dealt with a bit better at the tournament.
What?
Plus one.
Yeah,
I feel like he was so overrated. I
don't think he's the first pick material right now. I think
He
that
isn't.
Meg, Batrider, Darkseer are all
You still
better
think,
than him.
after this tournament?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I feel like he was so overrated in the tournament. Like teams
Like,
just didn't
it's-
deal with him properly.
I know. I think he's overrated, but the way that playstyle was that tournament, he was the
Oh.
best hero in the game.
Well, I hate that playstyle too, but like, if you have a lockdown for Sven, he's not as, like, he dies fast, and he
Yeah.
really doesn't deal as high DPS as you guys seem to think he does.
Really
Just
does.
from, like, he does a lot of damage, and his cleave is big, but if he's not cleaving, then he's not doing that much damage.
I think this is because someone Sven lost the game.
Yeah.
Just
that's-
trolling, just trolling.
It
No
did.
shots
My
fired.
Sven was so awful. I'm not even kidding. My Sven
Did
was
you not
awful.
practice the
The
hero
funniest
at all
thing was AUI BKB'd and then TP'd into the black hole. The ending was like...
No, that was gonna be
Oh, I
fine.
remember that.
Snaking blinked into it. Like, if he had solo black holed me, we would have won that fight. I'm
Oh
not even
yeah,
kidding.
yeah. I saw that start because he solo black hold you and then Snaken just blinked it and it was like,
Yeah, like,
Well, that's
that was gonna be fine. Because after the black hole, like, I got 2 hits off. If there was a quap out on all of them, they would have died. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah,
it's like you
Like-
died after the 2 hits.
I feel like people didn't like explore the options of dealing with Sven. Like I remember Envy picked up Shadow Demon to purge him, and Beastmaster is like a calming counter, but you can't run like any melee carries against him besides Void. And we saw Juggernaut ran unsuccessfully, and I don't know. I was hoping people would like explore more options.
I wish
Maybe.
more teams did Beastmaster mid. I think only like one team did.
I think Beastmaster should have been picked up a lot more, especially.
I
in
think
response
Clockwork
to
is good versus Sven. I like Clockwork versus Sven. Where's the Clockwork? I know that in WCG China is going to be soon, and I know the Chinese is counter to Sven is Clockwork, but no one actually picked that. Just
Yeah,
'cause
you
no
get
one played
blade mail fast.
That would be cool to watch.
You know,
Is-
I was. Oops, go on.
Go ahead.
Kurt.
No, I was just
Alright.
gonna say... Okay, go.
I-
Oh, God.
I was really looking forward to seeing like Razor's link. Does it go through BKB, Kurt? I know
Yeah,
you
it
play
does.
Razor. All right, so I was looking forward to seeing
Yeah.
a possible Razor and a possible sniper pick against Sven.
Razor doesn't work because it doesn't lower his base strength, so he's still gaining all that god strength damage.
True.
So
Yeah,
for the first
that's-
3 seconds, he's still like hitting you for 1k or whatever. But Sniper would be interesting.
I think sniper has potential for sure, and I know that some teams have tried it against him and successfully. But overall, you just needed a disable that can disable BKB and take him down. That's why Void was perfect because you can kill him in chrono duration.
Yeah.
Wait, can we talk about the Void build guys now?
Okay, Sam's been waiting this entire time. So,
What?
Sam, would you elaborate on the build and what you
No,
want
I
to
know,
talk
I know AOI flamed that build. So
No, I did. I like that build.
Really? Wait,
Oh,
wait.
it's
Yeah,
just-
I liked it versus Sven. Like, I like it because
I guess because you need mass
speed.
attack speed. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't-
no,
but,
I think that build was good. I don't like Battlefield on Void, so...
The Mjolnir Mask of Madness build, or?
Yeah, no, it was like Treads
Kind of
minus
methods.
Maelstrom Mask of Madness. It
Oh,
threw me off at first because you are losing that lifesteal, but I thought it was good.
If we're
I thought
talking
he
like
ended a BKB at some point. Like that seemed to be
Well, obviously, but the problem is like It's just the way they play it is that you just need attack speed. I don't know. He does so much damage with
'Cause
just Maelstrom and
they also had like damage buffs for him usually on the team, right? Like they had a Meg half the time or like a Venge or something.
yeah.
So-
I think Mag with it is good.
Yeah.
But like the efficiency, what? Okay, so what was your verdict on it, Sam? Like, what build was it? It was Hand of Midas, Maelstrom, Mask of
Tread.
Madness, Treads.
And
So
then
I'm just mad because he
Did you
didn't
think it
invent
was
the build.
good?
oh, I think obviously the ultimate item versus Sven is Butterfly. I know that Fear was trying to go with that on Juggernaut. I know most of the Voids try to go with that. As soon as the hero
Fear
gets
got it, and he got 2 hit.
Why
man.
is
He
it?
got
Why is
cleaved.
it
Yeah, but
Butterfly?
the problem, no, it's because Butterfly is you. Okay, have you ever played Sven versus a Butterfly hero?
Yeah, but you
Especially-
just hit the creep beside them or something,
just-
and then
Yeah, but
you
it's
don't
not.
get
That's not all the
aura
situations
potion.
though. Like it's hard to say that because what happens is if you hit the guy, I tested this just now. If you hit the guy with the butterfly and he dodges the hit, you don't cleave.
Oh yeah, no
So-
duh.
So you just have to. I don't know. I'm just saying. I like the item a lot versus Sven. So I know that. Most,
I think those builds were incredibly inefficient from a mechanical standpoint. Like, once you hit a percentage of attack speed on like Void, let's say, then the efficiency of attack speed against like a damage item such as Daedalus is
But-
incredibly low.
well, the thing is, the bash
It
has
was-
no down.
Yeah, he wasn't being picked as a carry so much as an anti-carry, right? Like as long
Yeah,
as you
he
lock out
was.
that Sven,
Oh,
his team's
God.
gonna lose.
Yeah,
Going on attack here. Do you remember the whole Fnatic RC offlane Void? That shit was. Oh god. Do you remember that game? Where like Fnatic RC like
do.
threw the Void offlane?
I
Yeah,
do
that
remember
was-
that game.
I'm just saying. I
Fnatic
think they picked
ran a
Soul
duel
counter just to
every
chrono
game.
the Sven. That was funny.
Alright. Alright, Dreamhack. Final thoughts, Kurt. Did you enjoy the after party, by the way? I know you said ESWCs was shit, but
It was okay. It wasn't bad. They closed the bar tab really quickly.
did they really? That sucks.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
like
Sweden?
after like, yeah, I don't know why so
Weppas,
fast.
You work for Twitch TV directly. I know you have a statement on this.
It's that city, man. They close everything at 2 a.m.
Oh, right.
It's fucking boring. Like in Stockholm, some places are open to 3, some at 5, but in Jönköping, it's like everything closes at 2, so they don't have permission to serve alcohol later. That's the thing.
Oh,
So-
I just want to point out that Envy said the Void build's pretty efficient for damage. I'm not too sure how true that is, but he usually does his homework, so.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I think the problem with Void is you have to hit that
Maelstrom
point where
is
like
also magical damage, and
Yeah.
you're dealing magic damage.
And then
I
you
don't
can
know.
bash and proc Maelstrom now in Dota 2.
Maelstrom is
in
really
Dota
good
1,
for
so-
farming.
Maelstrom's just a good item. I'm not even kidding.
It is.
love-
Maelstrom's the most efficient damage item in the game.
Other than Armlet, but Armlet has that entire, like,
It drains your HP thing going.
yeah, that thing.
That small fault in it. Okay.
just don't get it over Radiance on Syllabear, please, guys. Thank you.
I just saw a lot of opportunities in that tournament where Voids, like, they just needed a bit more damage, and they would have took out the Sven in the Chronosphere.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would have liked to see just some, like, small crits on him. The small crit,
Yeah, even the small
Merciless?
crate is so efficient damage-wise.
but, yeah.
Okay, so pretty much next episode we're gonna get Envy on and have you two do math against each other. Okay.
Oh god.
See who comes out on top of Dota math.
Do math on builds that Bulba invented.
I mean, Bulba has invented all the builds, so
Let's
we've
be
got a lot
honest,
to work
He
with
doesn't like this Void build because it's the only one he did invent, apparently.
here.
Let's be honest. I don't like your Syllabear build too.
That's okay.
I mean, you even stopped going that build, didn't you?
Yeah, I think the Radiance buff makes it better. And Syllabear, I don't think he can be played in the same style in this version too. But like, if you're owning, I still think like a Maelstrom into Radiance is still completely fine. Like Maelstrom for mid
yeah.
game is just ridiculous. I'm not
I
even
think the
kidding.
build that would have been better than all these builds is you go Tranko Boots and then Necro Book 3 on Void.
Doesn't Jo do that?
Do you get 3 Wraith Bands first or something?
Yeah, you get Tranko Boots, 3 Wraith Bands, and then a Necro Book 3. And then you have the DPS of a Rapier.
It was
That's
actually
sick.
hilarious because whenever I
Nice
see that
build.
build, I laugh so hard because of how awful it is.
TC made me a believer. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's actually
until
not
you-
that bad.
until
It's
you
really
catch
not
the
that bad.
Void.
TC
Okay.
did
Yeah.
that build, and then I invented it. So
This sounds exactly like Weppas' stupid Axe Bloodstone build, and
What? It's the best.
That does sound good.
Bloodstone Aghanim's 4-staff? Oh my god, it just chopped the shit out of people, man. And then when we start getting Bloodstone charges, it's amazing. You gotta
alright,
try.
terrible builds aside, something I did really, really, really want to talk about coming up in a bit is G League, right? And actually, I was looking at the groups, and LGD International, that's like their first major tournament. They did qualify, right? And they got put into a pretty difficult bracket. They have the Chinese LGD in there, which actually just won the previous league. For Love and DK, right? I think that's their group.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
that's a tough group.
That is a tough group. And they
I don't
played
know
their,
about that. That's
their two
stupid.
opening matches like 2 nights ago. I didn't watch them. I heard they were both stomps. That's why I didn't watch them. But yeah, they're in a group with DK, For Love, and the other LGD team, which is kind of frightening. But
I think that's dumb that the other group just has Tongfu and IG and what is it, Orange? I don't even think Orange is in
I think
it.
it's
I'm not sure.
MUFC. Is it MUFC? No.
I don't know. Yeah, but
I
they're
think
kind of like
MSC again.
they need to be one of those teams, obviously, to get past. So it's going to be tough. But honestly, I don't know. Maybe they could.
Yeah.
It depends.
I'm looking forward to it for sure. Like, I mean, LGD has they've said that they win like 45% of their games against LGD, and Crystal said he visited the LGD home, and that LGD was just getting trashed before they won the G1 League, right?
Yeah.
But the G League is going to be amazing. It's unfortunate that we aren't going to have like broadcasting from it because there's no West broadcasting.
Oh yeah, wasn't there the controversy with Join Dota or whatever, right? And well, it wasn't really a controversy, but they pretty much said that they were kind of soured with the whole Toby thing because he wanted salary and all that. And
I don't know.
it was impossible for Gods and the rest get anything out of that. But
Yeah, it's pretty much
Anywho.
all hearsay on that.
yeah, I mean, he released a statement, and it seemed like it was just he said, she said kind of business, and it went nowhere. But all right, so LGD International performs. How do you think they'll do in the group? Just a baseline prediction, Josh.
Oh shit. Well, I have to have faith in LGD in their practice. So I have to have them beating either DK or LGD, the home team. So I'm gonna say they're gonna beat For Love, and then DK is really good. So is LGD. I think they're gonna beat LGD to pass through the group though, and then lose
Christ.
to DK. I have to do it. I mean,
So I mean, you gotta do it anyways. So
yeah, they have to
NEODota, right?
beat them. Yeah.
I'm gonna say that IG's not gonna lose, or IG's gonna lose, and MUFC and Tongfu's gonna make it through.
Well, I meant for the LGD inside. Sam.
You meant for the hard group, Sam. You went for the easy group. Like, oh, like
yeah, that's
I predict the Patriots are gonna make the Super Bowl.
Christ.
well, they're not going
Some
to,
up-
but
some up-
Yeah, I don't actually follow
Guys.
football, but they won.
Sam,
6-0.
so what do you think? How do you feel that LGDN will do in a group like that?
I think that I hope they have they're gonna have something. Obviously, I mean something prepared. I mean they've played the teams a lot, and
Sam, don't beat around the bush. What are
Yeah,
the
just-
predictions?
Yeah, whatever your prediction is, Sam.
I don't know. I
You're not
haven't,
gonna get-
I have not honestly not played them yet. I mean, I've not honestly not seen them play yet, so we have to wait and see for that. But they do have. I like their players, obviously, but I don't know. I just don't know how they'll like. I don't
This
know how.
is such a
What, dude?
sellouty answer.
Brats.
That was a terrible.
I think they're gonna get ship stomped by DK, but they could beat LGD. How about that?
Okay.
So
And Weppas, I don't know if you've been following along with China Dota at all, but predictions at all?
I think LG Dent is gonna beat For Love and or DK. I think they'll beat DK. From what I heard, like right now they're 50-50 in scrims or something, pretty much. So like, and they're practicing really, really hard. And I don't know, it doesn't feel like DK's been super, super strong. But yeah, I think they'll go through their group anyways.
I know Brax told me that they were doing really well in their scrims, and they were like 8-0 against Tongfu or something. So hopefully that.
Tongfu
That's
Like
like
14-2 or something.
Hey,
More.
they're still. They were at the international, Sam.
Tongfu
They
beat
were
us,
there.
so what can I
Yeah.
say?
Yeah, they beat you guys. So
they knocked you out. See ya, Sam.
That was a different Tongfu, though. They
They
don't
caught
have
in black holes and shit.
I wasn't. Actually, I was. Whatever.
You were caught in that hole that
They,
changed.
they don't
the
have
game.
Awoke anymore, dude. Awoke is like the faith of Tongfu, and now that he's gone, they start losing. Just keep that, because you remember Awoke in
they
favor
got
like
short DD though, right? Or not short DD. I can.
Short.
what?
One of my
Long,
friends' name is
Long,
they have
Long
long
DD,
DD.
like the Long DD was on DK before.
Yeah, but he's on, what's it called now? He's on
Yeah, but they lost their awoke. It's like their faith. It's
I
like
can't believe I said short TD.
it's like Navi losing puppy.
Alright, so Kurt, thoughts?
Well, it just sounds like everyone's like heart LGD in and mind. I think they'll probably get knocked out, but I really want them to
So do
succeed,
I.
so I'll just put them as one of the two. Like that's what everyone here has said, right?
Yeah.
So
But
uh,
I'm not gonna make the same mistake I did
I
in
think
Dreamhack.
they're getting knocked out as
this is like, you know, when if you ever had like a foreigner go up against a Korean in StarCraft 2 for like GSO or something, everyone's like, oh, heart, Jinro's gonna win or something. But
And then they just get shit
sometimes-
stomped.
It's gonna
yeah,
be
but
like
no, you know, sometimes they do win, and Jinro made it to the round of 4 twice, so maybe they have a chance.
it's gonna be like Naniwa, like going up
Yeah.
against Flash first time, just beating him. You're gonna win the
Easy.
fucking G League, man. I have faith in them. I had faith in NEODota. They won DreamHack.
All I could say is I have a story. Okay. Last
Oh, is
Monday
this-
I was like,
Oh,
yes.
God.
Last Monday I went up to Snaking and I asked him, Snaking, are you gonna win DreamHack? And he said, yeah, we're gonna win. We're dope.
Did he really?
Going on, I'm like, okay, one of my friends was betting rare items. I go up to him and I say, I'm going to bet you 2 rare items that Dignitas is going to win DreamHack.
Oh god.
Told me this. I bet 2 rare items on Dignitas, and then whoop-de-doo, I lose them. So I'm not going to do that on LGD,
I
sorry.
should have bet it with you, man.
So you bet with the odds 1-1 that a team out of 16 would win DreamHack?
No, I thought you guys would make it.
No,
I- I
those
bet
were your
you-
odds. 1-1 odds on 1 out of 16 teams winning a
Dude,
tournament.
I don't care, dude. It was just like
You're
a
so
void.
special.
It was a void time break item and like some Omni Knight. I don't
So
play
the
Omni.
timebreakers
You
are
should
worth
never
$15.
gamble. You should never gamble, dude.
I want to bet with you, Bulba.
Oh my god. Sam, I'm gonna go with them on this one. That was pretty stupid of you. Well,
I had to-
no offense to Kurt's team, obviously. I thought Dignitas would do really well
I
too.
give motivation to Dignitas when I do this, because obviously I want them to win. So
Did
when
any
I go,
of the other members know about this bet though?
I told Way Too Sexy and I told their manager. So I think I gave them some motivation that, hey, there's a guy there out there that's an Indian curry boy that's just cheering for you on.
Hey, speaking of Kurt, did you get any of my messages at DreamHack? I passed a bunch along Tides of Time because he was the only one on my friends list.
No, he didn't tell me, and I was sitting right beside
He didn't
him.
tell you a single one? I told him like 5.
Oh,
I was
no,
like,
no,
all
I
right,
saw those. It's like,
Kurt, you
AUI's
need
on
to get
my
5 more kills this
AUI's
game
on
to
my
maximize my
yeah,
fantasy
and
points.
I got a double rampage, and there you got it. And then you're like, for the next game, you're like, you guys can win, and AUI should get lots of kills, but can you guys not kill Era and Tricks or something? That was actually pretty funny.
This sounds like terrible collusion, Josh.
Just let their
Yeah.
2 carries
Dude.
survive and it'll be fine.
It was because I
Yeah.
had Fnatic players on my fantasy team, and I had Kurt on my fantasy team as well. So, I mean, they just had to not kill No-Tail and Fly, but kill everyone else. Well, at the same time, they had to feed those 2, so they got the kill points, and I would just come out on top.
All I can say is all
You
Dignitas had to
yourself
do
on
was
your-
beat Fnatic, and they have an easy road. They had to be like, well, he has Asian or whatever.
Oh, no,
Oh my god.
We just had to play well. Like
I had to
that's it.
cast that We Has Asian versus Fnatic game. That was honestly the worst game I've ever ops. Like, We Has Asian, I hate you. Like, they just turtled for literally 90 minutes. It was literally the worst game I've ever opsed, so. Shout out to We Has Bad. I mean, Asian.
Whoa.
Holy crap.
Well, since we're
Shots
flaming,
fired.
how did you feel about Demons the boot comment?
It was actually.
Oh, shit.
What was that entertaining? It's just our.
It was
Whoop-de-doo.
entertaining. I mean,
And the awkward silence builds with Sam.
Sam, I mean, you didn't really expand on that. Like,
Yeah.
What? It's just, one day, you know, you gotta do something for something else.
You have to be like, I'll take revenge on him at Nick's LAN or something. I'll crush their team.
I like that
Yeah,
though when it seemed like just a nice friendly rivalry, right, Sam?
that,
Yeah,
that was
friendly.
not friendly. You should have saw the private messages I got from Sam. That was not friendly. Not
It was-
friendly one bit.
You know what? It was friendly. I'm gonna drop it here so Sam doesn't have to.
All right,
know-
wait a second.
Story
We're
time.
going-
First grade, you have that enemy.
First grade.
Like, but then
Well-
in the end, you have when you play 5-up, 7-up, or whatever, and then they go and you see their shoes, and it's like the color, and then and they're up on the floor, and then you know it's like he's the guy that put my thumb down. It's like that kind of relationship.
What are you talking
That literally made no sense at all.
I heard like
And-
5 up, 7 up, and then shoe colors, and then thumb.
Yeah, this
Whatever.
is.
So you have to get the joke.
It's heads up, 7 up.
Yeah, heads up, whatever, dude.
You've never.
All right, I gotta look through my Skype logs for
Like
this
heads
Bulba
down
quote.
7-Up or something?
No, it's heads up 7-up. All right.
Oh.
Anyways, moving on from that, something that Josh actually wanted to bring up, the Thor tournament, right, is coming up in 2 weeks after DreamHack, and something I wanted to discuss was how Sweden actually is becoming kind of like the mecca now for Dota esports, even more so than China, right? We have DreamHack coming up, we have this Thor tournament coming up. I heard actually there was a LAN recently there around too. What are your guys' thoughts about actually Europe becoming kind of what China was to Dota 1 and Korea is to StarCraft? Kurt first.
Um, well, I don't know about that. Like, there's always been a lot of tournaments around Sweden just because of they're the home of DreamHack, and just because there's a lot of tournaments there doesn't really make them the mecca of an esport. Like, for example, in StarCraft 2, if you want to make money as a foreigner, you did not need to go to Korea as a short term. Like, long term, you would need to go to get better, but short term, if you want to make money, you would just go to all the foreign tournaments because they're easier, right? Like, GSL for its prize pool is incredibly hard. But it's definitely encouraging that the Western scene is getting another huge tournament in the Thor tournament.
Okay. Well, here's what I just thought about. We just had DreamHack, which was 29K prize pool. That's pretty good in Europe. And then 2 weeks later, there's going to be a Thor tournament, which has a $25,000 prize pool. And I know NTH and Eternal Envy are making their way back. They want that prize pool. So yeah, there's that. And then in a month from now, we're also going to have the Star Ladder Land Final in Ukraine. And there's just a lot of money in Europe right now, overall. And I'm not sure, Aoi, would you guys be interested in going to the Thor or the Star Ladder Land Final if you guys qualify?
I don't
Yeah,
we would go to either of them, honestly.
yeah, it's not really worth it for an American team, you know. So I don't know. Europeans kind of have that advantage of just having bigger prize pools and land tournaments that they can travel to within 7-hour travel time.
Yeah.
Is that something you guys would consider, Kurt? If you did manage to... Actually, you can, huh? Because Snaking's in high school. So...
Well, we also have finals during the Thor thing, and... Well, since you mentioned travel time, there's also that, European teams going to local events, whereas, I don't know, I had a 40-hour travel time to get back. I'm so mad about that.
What took so long?
He's
I had,
in Vancouver.
I had an 8-hour wait, and then a 10-hour wait, and then another 7-hour wait, and then I had 3 flights total, so... And a 3-hour bus ride.
How far is the place, by the way, Weppas, from your studio to where the Thor tournament is being held?
20 minutes by car or something like that. 10 minutes from my home.
Are you going to at least check it out?
Yeah.
Have you guys looked at that at all? The Thor tournament? Are you guys... Do they have a production team, or have you guys spoke with them about production?
I don't know really, actually, but I guess we're gonna be there watching at least, but I don't know if we're doing anything else.
Okay. Oh, and something Josh had mentioned, is the GD studio now kind of switching to primarily Dota? I know you guys did the production stuff for DreamHack, right? And you actually recently just brought over Draskell?
Yeah. Well, we're not switching to Dota, it's just that we want to get stronger in Dota. I mean, we already got Apollo, and he's the best caster in StarCraft 2 right now. And we got a BC now as well, who's the observer. So we actually got an in-house observer for if we're going to have smaller StarCraft 2 tournaments in the house. So we just wanted to bring Dota up to par with StarCraft and have a strong Dota, being able to do strong Dota content as well. So
I was curious about that because it seemed like you guys focused your production at DreamHack more. I don't know if it's because you have adequate StarCraft backstage production, but Trance and James, for example, they focused on Dota 2 more than StarCraft. And do you what's your guys' vision for Dota 2 in the future? Do you guys see Dota 2 growing a lot?
Yeah, at least growing as big as StarCraft 2 is. It's just the money isn't there yet for sponsors and stuff because StarCraft 2 is still the big thing, and you can see League of Legends on an edge, but it's still mostly Riot, it feels like. But Dota 2 is going to grow a lot bigger, I think. It's just that people got to realize that it's going to be as big as StarCraft 2.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, Dota 2 is pretty much the game that James plays. that's the game that everybody plays in the house except for Apollo. Like we even got out of BC when we played like Death Stacks and stuff. So like everybody plays Dota in the house and really enjoy the game. So that's why we want to get like a stronger, just like get a better Dota coverage and stuff. So
Yeah, I know Liquid. I've spoken to a few. I know Blitz has spoken to a few Liquid members as well. But from what I hear, they just everyone in there, like Liquid, House and stuff, they're all like playing a lot more Dota 2 than StarCraft, and they like following Dota 2 more than StarCraft nowadays.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the main reason why they decided to cover Dota over League of Legends, I think. Because I think even though League of Legends is more profitable, everyone in that house pretty much just, like, whenever I talk to Heyoka on Skype, you can hear Hotbit or Rich or something shouting about Dota. So is that kind of like the same thing that's going on with the GD studio?
Well, it's just that like since we're so many living here, Dota is so much better to play. Like StarCraft 2, it can be fun, but it's still like primarily a 1v versus 1 game. And if you want to play together, you gotta play custom mods like Catch and Run or whatever. And Dota, you just play together. Like we always have a 5-stack or a 4-stack when we play, and it's a lot more fun, and you can like mess around a lot more. You don't really care about wins and stuff. Like of course you want to win, but like in StarCraft 2, it's like you got a league, you want to go up, you don't want to lose the games, and it's mainly like 1 versus 1. So I think that's just the thing. People like play a lot more together, and they want a team game then. And for most people that are like high up in the scene, they want a challenging game, so they go for Dota 2 if they want to go for a team game. So yeah,
That makes perfect sense, actually. That's the main reason why I moved from... And Kurt, didn't you used to play StarCraft as well? And you
We
switched
played
from
Dota 1
to...
first, so...
Yeah, so did I. We actually knew each other. Funny story. Me and Kurt have known each other since like 2008.
Yeah,
We were in the same clan together. And here we are, but...
possibly longer than that.
Actually, it might have been longer than that. I've known you since like junior year of my high school, and I just graduated college. That's insane. We used to hate each other, but that's a story for another time. Anyways,
we love stories.
just to wrap up, I wanted to talk about something that Snoopy actually brought up, who's watching from Australia, and it's a terrible hour, but he follows our show.
Shout out to Stoopy.
Yep, super shout out to Snoopy, and all the Europeans that are still watching at this terrible hour, but he wanted to talk, and I feel like it would be interesting, in the next patch, what you feel needs nerfing or balancing. Kurt, we can go to you first. What do you feel like needs the most balance or work in general? Or item or anything like that?
Middle pose.
So you feel like after the tournament it's still an issue?
Yeah, I still think it's an issue. I still think this, like, I don't know if something could be really done about stacking and stuff, but that's really annoying. And also, Magnetar is honestly like the most stupid hero in the game.
Yeah, we didn't mention
Like,
it, but like
He's just
Mag and
dumb.
Power.
Yeah, like.
Didn't he win
there's
like
something-
85% of games at
I
They
don't
lost
Dreamhack?
2 games the whole tournament.
Yeah,
It was
he's like
Mouse Sports game and the second game in the final.
he's like fundamentally flawed though. Like you have a Blink, a giant AoE ultimate that has no downsides to you, a really good spammable nuke to farm, and a really good buff, like one of the best buffs in the game. So
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really touch on this, but we saw NTH, like when they were behind with Void and Mag, they would just empower the Void and farm the ancient stacks, right?
Yeah.
And come back in the game.
it's actually pretty stupid.
It's just like Battle Fury for free.
Like who needs Enigma when Magnetar's is instant and can't be cancelled?
Yeah.
And it does pull like instantly, right? It just like,
Yeah.
it gives you the best positioning ever. Because your team doesn't have to aim anything. They just shoot into that small little area.
And it goes through BKB.
Yeah, that's the best part, right?
And Skewer goes through BKB, so it's 2 spells that cancel like BKB TPs or anything like that. And it still slows. I hate that hero.
Skewer is so long as well. Like
Yeah,
the range
like
is
why,
It's
why
hard,
did
and
he
you can
buff
charge
him?
from like tier 1 tower to tier
Like
1 tower and
he
mid.
was already a top pick before the buffs in the last patch. I'm not even kidding. Like Skewer and Shockwave buffs. So
hmm
Sam, do you have any opinions on things that need to be changed or buffed or balanced?
I have many opinions, but I will keep it subtle.
Okay, go. Then be
Like I
basic.
said, nerf pulls. I don't want Dota to be pull. I don't want every lane to be pulled. It's just stupid.
Yeah, that's
So what do you
one
feel like the
answer.
solution is to that then?
I obviously I don't know. Maybe obviously you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that in Dota 1. You couldn't pull like that in Dota 1. There was obvious. I know mid pull you couldn't. If you pulled it there, the creeps wouldn't aggro to there all the time. Sometimes they would, like the range creep, but it was literally hard. Like just the way how pathing worked in Dota 2, Dota 1. It didn't work. You couldn't do that, and I don't know. There's just so much stuff. Like the whole map shouldn't be about pulling in the early game. It should be about putting pressure and smoking and getting kills, and I don't know. It shouldn't be about pulls.
And
I think
polling
these
is
heroes.
all versus AI.
Yeah.
It's like player versus AI, and you don't want that.
I think Warcry should be nerfed a little bit. I think instead of making his Sven such a like farmer, he should go back and they should buff his mana pool so he can cast stun more, and they should nerf his carry extremely stupid carry potential where he's so strong in the laning phase. He has Warcry where like minus armor does not affect him much at all, and he can just go in and tank, and his late game potential is like the best. So obviously they should nerf that. Mag, I have no idea what they should nerf about him. It's like hard to nerf because the whole entire concept of the hero is you blink in and then you RP. Like you can't. It's hard to like. Obviously you need to nerf the numbers then. Well, I know that Envy was saying that. So the only way I can see you logically nerf Mag is okay. Also another thing is you shouldn't be able to cast spells in Skewer. That's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah,
Skewer should be like Time Walk. Like watching like Demon like skewer and then like cast RP while he's like in there and like completely crush them, like crush that second game, even though like they were losing. Like Demon was carrying them that game, that second game, like even with like a 20k gold deficit, because he was using skewer so well. And if you have someone that can utilize skewer like to its optimal, it's like such an annoying spell to play versus. You shouldn't be able to cast stuff in skewer. And then what else is there?
That
I think
Venomancer,
Morphling-
like pulling ancient
Yeah.
trick. That was
I think
that was the
that was
first time
actually
I saw
nice.
that.
I think Envy did it in the
Yeah,
Empire
Envy did
game
it
in the
first.
morning. I remember watching it. I saw the whole thing on Reddit like a few weeks back. So,
Yeah.
but it was pretty cool that he utilized that. And also the
pretty much
Rubik mid,
Eternal Envy
Rubik,
broke the metagame.
and then the whole Rubik thing mid where you like pull and then you telekinesis. I know that Envy was saving that for Dreamhack, so that was pretty cute. I even made a Twitter post like as soon as he gets Radiant and he gets Rubik, I knew that versus like a good team he's gonna do the like abuse that stuff. So it was pretty fun. But I think there should be like I don't know. It's just annoying to play versus like all these pulls and it's just like it makes everything just all messed up. It shouldn't be like Dota shouldn't be like that. And it should be more about. I know it's hard to say that, but it's just like ruining the game. I think.
I agree. Like too much pulling. It's kind of too much. Like with the mid, with the ancients, it just really Kurt summed it up perfectly by saying it makes it like player versus AI rather than player versus player. You know.
And Kurt's not good at player versus AI. He isn't a PvE master.
Oh, he is. Have you seen his?
Amazing. Have you seen me
his
hit
gyrocopter?
creeks? That's all I do. I just hit creeks, dude.
You're like one of the most like kill heavy one players though. I know that you just get like bored and you're like, well, I'm gonna go kill people now.
I think that's just in like pubs or like non-serious scrims. Like, I think I farm quite a bit, but yeah.
So is that something as a player perspective, Kurt, playing competitively right now, you'd like to see change the stacking aspect?
I have no idea how they change it. I mean,
I think
might
the stacking
It
aspect.
might just be a
is fun.
metagame thing. I think the stacking. I don't like how so much of the game is focused around the ancient stack. So like, I really don't like that. Like, if you take their ancient stack and then you get your own ancient stack, it's so hard to lose.
You sound so frustrated.
I am.
It is frustrating,
It's
but
annoying.
the thing is, the reason that pulling didn't always work is teams would put pressure, but in some of those games, like one team would pull and one team would stack, and the other team would pull and stack, but they didn't go on the other side of the map. They just did their own, and then it's like I felt like most of the games were just whoever's won or whoever's carry just was more farmed, and whoever's carry was better, and whoever had like that better one team fight or whoever won the game. There wasn't like a mid thing, you know. There wasn't like the little laning aspects and one team putting pressure on one side while the other team is getting Roshan. I mean, obviously they'll like. I don't know. Like maybe people would hate me for saying, but I honestly think like Morphling maybe should get some buff. Like that hero is just so bad.
Oh,
I thought maybe
miss
it was like.
Morphling.
I thought that was underestimated, but still, that was a hero that could farm and could kill. So you could still outskill people, and it was fun to see like an E-Blade Morphling going around killing people. Like it's a hero that you're not gonna you're just gonna stack, because Morphling obviously couldn't farm stacks, but you just go around killing stuff. Like, so
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, like stacking ancients, like thinking about it theoretically, like someone should be doing something else. Like, if you're taking so long to kill an ancient stack, then like your heroes aren't in lanes farming, so you're missing that, and they should be like pushing or pressuring towers or something, you know. So you should be getting stuff elsewhere, but overall ancient stacking is pretty strong.
I'd just like to point out, by the way, that Sam, in the very first episode, said that Morph was still an amazing hero.
What,
And
dude?
4 weeks later, he's completely
I'm
turned
just-
around and said that hero shit.
Sam just recycles Fluff's opinions. Like Fluff.
You remember that? He was
Fluff
like,
still
the
thinks-
Chinese teams are going to show you that Morph is still amazing.
That was
And-
He's
like,
so bad.
Like Fluff still thinks that Morph is viable, and
No,
I've
no,
talked to Fluff about
Fluff
this,
hates
and that's
that
why
hero.
Sam thinks he's still viable because Fluff told him
Fluff
so.
thought he was.
Yeah,
no,
Fluff
dude,
thinks
I
he is.
played
I'm pretty
Hero
sure.
the other day, and it's like it felt all weird and shit.
Dude, if
Like-
you play Morphling, like, you'll just miss waveforms because you can't turn. It's so dumb.
I actually flamed Boogaloo for missing wave coins in my game, but then I played it and like, oh, it's not his fault.
Yeah, it's actually a
Sam-
1 second cast time.
Before we end this discussion, do you still think Meepo's broken and he's going to see competitive play? Because
Well,
I remember
actually, I do. I don't think he's broken. I think let's see play.
I think yeah, he's gonna see play.
See, Sam always talks in like one end of the spectrum or another. It's always hyperbole, you know? This hero is the best ever. You'll never see anything like it. And this hero is the worst ever. There's like no middle ground for you, Sam.
The
It's
thing about Meepo is you can pull, you can stack, and you can farm, and you can put pressure all at the same time. He's the ultimate hero.
Weppas,
He is
there
the
anything
ultimate hero.
From a casual spectating point of view, is there anything that you would like to see changed in Dota, nerfed or buffed otherwise?
Well, Magnus, like, I don't know. Did you know you can fucking blink with skewer? Like, you skewer
Yes.
and latch and then you
Can you
blink
really?
and come back?
And it
Yeah,
goes across the entire map.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's so
Wait, wait, wait.
broken.
because they latch on and you can probably blink like 3 people if you hit them with skewer. It's
Just
fucking
get a
retarded.
blink and a force staff. That's how
Yeah.
knows force staff you.
You bring
And
that
then
back to
your
your
fountain.
No,
It's like a
I
punch.
said it
Wait, so you skewer someone, then you can blink during the
Yeah.
skewer, and they.
Yeah.
come here because they're latched on. I did it in a pub. I was like charging out a
Why,
star.
why are you saying this, dude?
I blinked
Envy is so gonna use this.
back in front of me. I was like, what the fuck?
No, they have to nerf
I-
that. Like, it's dumb.
Yeah, that's really stupid. And the range is so big. Like, you saw that in one of the mouse sports games. Like, pass was initiated on in bottom lane. He, like, skewered from their tower, like, down to the river or something.
Yeah. It's
Like,
he's impossible to
I
kill,
don't
too.
know. Like-
Stupid.
The fuck? Well,
Yeah,
I
that
don't-
one
it's
EG
just
team fight in their
ridiculous.
base too.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
Demon like refresh skewered and then he skewered like 2400 range into the base and they still lost horribly, but that was pretty fun to see.
They had the Aegis, that's why, right? And
Yeah.
he didn't have
Yeah.
the mana, right? For the
Yeah.
second RP.
It's also 300 damage, so like even we're all discussing how good it is. It's also an AOE 300 damage nuke.
Yeah, but
280 or whatever.
Mag is just really, really strong right now. I think that needs a nerf, like, even in pubs, it's just retarded. And, like, side lane pulls, you don't see that much, but, like, in competitive, you see it, like, all the time, mid pull. And I think they should change that somehow because, yeah, the mid pull shouldn't be able to happen. Like, safe lane, yeah, I understand that, and should be able to do that, but mid, no. Like, since you can only do it from one side, it's like, either you do it for both sides or you don't have it all.
Yeah. I completely I completely agree with that. Anyways, alright. Is there anything else you guys want to bring up in terms of this subject whatsoever? We're good? Sam, any last hateful shoutouts to Hero? Nothing. I'm just letting you know.
There's like no other hero that's annoying.
Centaur.
Oh, Bounty Hunter.
But-
The Bounty Hunter needs to be there. When you play Bounty Hunter in like Western Dota, I
don't
just
think
feel
it
like
needs to
that
be
hero.
The movement
Really?
speed from his ulti is so stupid.
Dude,
I don't
Sam,
know,
you're
I-
so like on the like nerf train. You just think everything needs to be nerfed.
Dude,
how are you
oh,
gonna
this
say
shit is
it's not
broken,
that?
man. Fucking.
I think
fuck.
Bounty Hunter's a bit strong too.
I think it's strong,
Well, like
dude.
it's because like if you watch the Bounty Hunter at Dreamhack tournament, like none of those heroes, like none of those people, none of them kept the Bounty Hunter at level 1. Like that Bounty Hunter always got experience in lane, like always.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
why.
there was
That's
a
why no. You hear what I said? I said Bounty Hunter is extremely broken in Western Dota, because like no one keeps him out of the lane.
Yeah, that's a flaw of, like the teams, not
Yeah,
a flaw of the
But
game.
it's also to do with the support heroes that are being picked right now too.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you pull this Bounty Hunter PMS and you can
Yeah.
solo support hero, it's like Janata's stupid.
Like the reason that doesn't happen in Chinese Dota is because if they have a tri lane, they have 2 heroes keeping you out of lane. Like I'm not even kidding. They just sit there and they keep you out of lane.
Like there's gonna be like a
They know
Venmo
how
and
deadly
something
Bounty
else.
Hunter is, man.
Exactly. I think it's worth it. I mean, it's worth obviously keeping it on a lane, but it's like a hero shouldn't be that annoying to play versus, I think.
This hero is annoying. I do not want to play versus it. Ice Frog, please
Oh, I
nerf.
love that hero.
Please nerf Ice Frog.
Understand-
Imagine,
Ice
imagine
Frog,
when
save
Techies
us.
gets in. When Techie gets in, Sam's just gonna like talk about Techies for entire episodes.
Do you know
Yeah,
like
that's fun.
you know how fun it is like play Bounty Hunter and then go Shadow Blade and just go around like killing shit?
That is-
You know, I was actually thinking about something. Why was Meg put in the game, but Centaur and Drow weren't? Like,
Because they
Centaur and Jal
changed
got
such
reworks,
big
right?
spells, right? They
Yeah,
reworked
Centaur
them.
and Jal got complete reworks, whereas Meg just
Mag
got...
Mag's got like
Yeah.
little buffs, or not little buffs, but obviously buffs. But
I
like,
guess.
their worked. I don't
So
know.
pretty
Mag
much
was-
if Sam was in charge of balancing, every hero would suck,
Oh, dude,
except
I think some.
Invoker
I think
And
some-
Morphling.
and
Buff
Tinker.
Morphling.
And Tinker.
I think
And Tinker.
I think Marsh should do 900 damage per hit.
Yeah, I
It
mean that would
already
totally.
does.
it would
Like, it
totally
really
balance
already
the game out.
does.
Yeah.
But for real, we need to see big changes on Centaur and Drow before they get put in. I think.
We need to see Techies bombs with the tiny toss range at level 1.
All right. Anyways, I think that this is gonna do it for us today. We'll go around the room. You can follow me at Blitz_Dota on Twitter and twitch.tv/BlitzDota. One word. Bulba, you can follow him at BulbaDota. Any shoutouts or quote unquote sponsor plugs? Bulba?
Shout out to my team and shout out to Ike's Mike.
No word on your sponsor yet?
Bulba, do you have anything
those
in the
separate?
works?
No, a possible Red Bull/AMD/ sponsorship.
Oh yeah.
All right,
okay.
you're gonna avoid this. Weppas, thank you so much for being here. You can follow him at Weppas and then an underscore. I don't know why that underscore is there, but is
Because
there
someone else
anything
got
that you would like?
Weppas.
Did they really?
Yeah, search for Weppas on Twitter and you're gonna see there's someone else that just got it.
I
It's
will
like 0
follow him.
followers and shit.
Is there anything that you'd like to plug though?
No, shout out to everybody in the studio, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed DreamHack. Shout out to Beatties. It was really cool meeting him.
All right, PAINTITGOLD. Is there
Hold on.
at PAINTITGOLD? That's his Twitter. Is there anything
I'd like
that
to
you
shout
wanna-
out to Snoopy from Down Under and IX Mike 88. He says Bulba is a dumbass and he should stop stealing everyone's ideas.
Who?
IX Mike said that. He said you
Dude,
just
Bulba
steal
created
people's
everything.
ideas.
Let's be real here.
Ike's Mike is a clown. That's all I can say.
Isn't he your teammate? But anyways, moving on. And AUI, you can follow him at AUI_2000, 2000, the clowniest name ever. But are you going to show off your sweater and all that jazz?
Oh yeah, thanks to Team Dignitas and our sponsors, Intel, Antec, Alienware, and others. And shout out to our manager Charlie, who, according to EG Betas, is Snaking's dad. And
Alright.
then he
Sorry.
actually went to say, "Are you Snaking's dad or something?"
True story.
It's true.
Snaking does need a chaperone. And for this show, guys, you can follow youtube.com/NEODota, NEODota.com, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are all /NEODota2. And this also is going to be rebroadcast at 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, which is 20 CET. And aside from that, I think that's going to do it for us. Bye, guys.